Hello and welcome to the BWIO Show. Today I'm here with Brittany Olivia Logan. Hi.
Hi, how's everyone doing?
So let's start off by telling us about yourself.
Well, my name is Brittany Logan. I'm 27 years old. I'm a lyric soprano. I was born in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and I grew up in Garden Grove, California. Um, I started my musical journey like halfway through college. So I'm pretty late to the game, but I definitely feel like very well immersed in the opera community.
And you sing down, girl. I would never have known that.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I actually started off as a marine biology major.
Really?
And I ended up taking a voice class as an elective. And the teacher was like, I think you should switch your major to music. So I've been doing it ever since.
What did you want to be when you got to college? Like, why did you study marine biology?
I love the ocean, and I love just being able to study all of the different animals that were in the ocean. And like throughout high school, I would go to marine biology camp every summer. So, and I knew that's what I wanted to study when I got to college. But it's crazy how like our path changes once we get to college, and there's so many other things to explore. So it's cool and crazy how music just kind of fell into my lap.
That is so amazing. I'm glad it did though, because you are such a beautiful singer, such an amazing talent.
Oh, thank you.
So with that, was there like a moment that you just fell in love with opera and you decided like this is gonna go for it?
Yeah, so when I took the voice class as an elective, one of the trips we had to go and actually see an opera. So we went to the final dress rehearsal of LA Opera's Magic Flute. And at that time, I was like very early on in my studies. So I had like in all the videos that they showed us, I'd never seen Black opera singers. So at this time, it was Lawrence Brownlee playing Tamino and Janai Brugger playing Pamina. And like, I was so in awe of their artistry and their vocalism on stage that I left feeling so inspired. And like, that was the moment I knew. I was like, this career is for me.
That is a show to see. The two of them together, I know it was like amazing.
Yeah. And like so amazing for it to be my first opera and to see like two people that I look up to now.
That's a great first opera experience, like for real, because I went to see Lawrence Brownlee sing and I just was floored. So I can only imagine just the two of them together.
Oh, I wish they would do it again.
Please bring it back. So you have been kind of really on the front lines of the current protests. Can you tell us about how that got started? Have you always been an activist?
I have. I actually lost my cousin to police brutality when I was 17 years old. So it means a lot to me to be able to get out there and protest and be able to use my voice to bring about change in my community. I feel like it's very empowering just because many people believe that protesting doesn't really get us anywhere. But history has shown us that with the civil rights movement, with the LGBTQIA plus movement, with the women's rights movements, that protesting can really bring about change. And like it's so inspiring and empowering to see so many people of different colors, creeds, sexual orientations come together and to really like get out there and fight for change within our society.
Yeah, I think that's been the most interesting part for me too. Is just like so many people are equally as tired, and I think that is just such a powerful message that there are so many people who are listening and interested in the movement and interested in seeing a change. You know.
Yeah.
and sometimes it can feel like really isolating, especially if you feel you experience like negative experiences with the police or just racism. It feels very isolating. So to see that there are so many people who are interested in change it's very empowering.
Yeah, and like for me, it was very empowering to see people that I go to school with and teachers that teach my classes get out there on the front lines and protesting with me.
Wow.
And so I feel like people are actually listening to us this time around. Like, yes, every single year, the list of lives that we lose in the Black community gets longer. And I'm sad that it took so much time for us to get to this point. But at the same time, like, I'm so happy that so many people are listening and so many people are willing to change the laws within their state to lift us up.
Right, exactly. So you've been kind of going out a lot. How has that been? How's that experience been?
It's every protest I've been to so far has been very peaceful, actually. So many people try to paint them as violent and there's riots and people are fighting. Yes, that's happening in some places, but not all protests are violent. We get out there. We have marched to City Hall. We have marched to the police station. Um, and everyone is very welcoming. And yet, minus all of the coronavirus stuff that's happening right now, people are very cautious and aware of that. So there's a lot of the leaders out there passing out masks, water, giving out hand sanitizer, and it's very empowering to see the Black community come up together.
Right.
And the first protest I went to, I wasn't really expecting very many Caucasian people to come out, but it was the majority of it was them.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's our generation that's going to be the one to bring about change within our society. And it's very nice to see and nice to know that we can do that.
Right. I was looking at a guy's tweet. He was talking about, I don't know what generation. I'm a millennial. I think like the next one is Y or Z or something like that. But he was just talking about how people have said that we have been so lazy and we don't do anything and we're ruining all these things. It's like we are literally out there really doing the work to fight for change, because I think the generation, especially your generation, is like very, very hopeful. And you guys know what the future can be like. You have so much hope into seeing what the future can be like. And I think that that's very important.
Yeah. And what I've also taken away from these protests are making sure you vote in your local elections. Like, your local elections are the reason why certain laws are in place in your community. I know a lot of people in my generation tend to focus mainly on the presidential election.
Right.
But it's up to us to do our research on our local election and know what laws are going into place, because they directly affect us as a whole.
Yeah, like that's been that kind of a great thing as well, like to see so many people getting out of office because of where they stand or because of how they present themselves. Especially during this time, I know in DC, a city councilman lost his seat to a person who was like about the change. So we see that so many positive things happening, especially when we are voting for people who actually have our best interests. And now you really straddle the fence. Like, you have to be on one side or the other. And that is being exposed as well.
Yeah. And it's like, now is the time for people to be on the right side of history instead of being stuck in a system that oppresses so many people.
Exactly. Because it's just like time out. Like, when I only went to protest once. But that day was a lot. It was a lot day. It was like right before that Blackout Tuesday, which I think like was the pinnacle of like emotional stress as it relates to the movement. So it was like, it was just so emotional to go there and know that I've studied the history of the civil rights movement, and I've taught it to children, and just see like this literally looks like a history book. It just was so overwhelming.
Yeah.
So I think it's amazing to see that people are seeing the truth and fighting for the system to change, because it's really just time out.
Yes, it really is.
So what do you hope to see like change in the opera industry?
Ooh, a lot, honestly. For like the biggest thing for me, I would like to see them to stop the use of black and yellow face within our industry. There are so many people of color that have the talent to be able to sing these roles, and yet they're not given the opportunity to do so because of these outdated practices that opera still utilizes.
Right.
And I'd also really like to see people of color, like I want us to be seen as equals. We go to these top-rated conservatories and we spend all of our time training and learning these same roles as our white counterparts. But when we get out into the industry, we're stopped because of the color of our skin and only seen in certain roles. Like, yes, I understand you want to see Porgy and Bess, but we're more than that. We've spent years and years of training to be able to sing down the house, okay? So I want us to be able to be seen as equals. See me for the quality of my voice. See me for my acting technique. See me for my personality. Yes, I'm a Black woman, but I want you to see me and the hard work that I've done as well.
Exactly. Because we are actually doing the work. We got to do the same type of work. We have to still know the languages. We still have to know all the roles and everything that's going on. We have to know the history. We have the same ability. We go to the same, like you said, same schools. I mean, it's the same amount of work and even more put into developing ourselves as artists. And we just really need to be treated fairly at this point.
Yeah.
Like Karen Slack was talking in the LA Opera conversation, and what she said was so powerful to me, because she was like, I'm not looking to take your seat at the table, just scoot over so I can have my own seat. And she said, if I'll sing you, then that's just what it is. So it's just like, we just want literally a seat at the table. We just
a well-represented seat at the table.
Right. So I'm hopeful, because we, especially now, are definitely calling out the experiences that we've had that have been negative due to racism.
Yeah.
And I'm hopeful that the opera companies will be listening, because the people are telling you what is going, like what they want. They're telling you what they're coming out in droves to protest. They're speaking out against what's happening. There's a petition going around to remove all the blackface and yellowface on the Met's website. It has a lot of signatures. So it's like the people are talking, and the industry, if you want to survive if the opera industry is going to survive, it has to take those steps to be truly inclusive and not fake diversity, inclusive, you know?
Yeah. And like I feel like a lot of opera companies believe that diversity is like, oh, let's have one Black person in our apprenticeship program, but that's not the case at all. Like, we want to be well represented on that stage. I want to go to an opera house and I want to see someone like me on that stage that I can relate to and be happy for my brothers and sisters up there.
Right. Because
they're finally given the opportunity to use the voice that they've been training for so long.
Yes. So what's next for you? You graduated?
I did. Thank you. The long 2 years.
So what degree did you earn?
I earned a master's in music from the University of Cincinnati College Conservatory of Music. Yeah, it's such a long name, I know. But I'm actually going to be headed back there in the fall. I'm going to do the artist diploma program.
Okay.
Yeah, I just felt like I needed a little bit more time with my teacher and my coaches just before I like try to put myself further out into the industry.
Right.
Um, but yeah, and then like goals that I have for myself, I would say are just to apply for more yaps, apply and win more competitions.
Because you just won a competition.
I did. Oh my god, I'm still in shock. Let me be honest. Just because like the way that they did it, just because of the coronavirus, usually it's like a big thing and a big hall. But they're like, there's new rules just because we have to cancel in person. Everyone has to record on their cell phone, upload it to YouTube, and send it to us. And so I was like, okay, I'm standing in my kitchen. The acoustics aren't great, but we'll see what happens.
Right. And you won. Okay, that voice spoke for itself.
Yeah. Thank you.
That is amazing. That is amazing. It's so interesting to have this time where we are not, doing the live performances that our art kind of was built upon, and just finding new ways to still engage and still
Yeah.
kind of capture the truth of the art, which I think is great for our generation to do that, because we've had cell phones forever. We've had technology for such a long time,
And
for
now
long
it's time
periods of
for us
our
to
lives.
finally utilize it.
Right. And we're very savvy with it, very smart with it. That is amazing. So the last question is, if you could write an opera, what would it be about?
Uh, this one was a really tough question, but very easy to answer for me because I'm such a huge fan of Freddie Mercury. He's the lead singer of the band Queen.
Mhm.
Um, I just feel so inspired by his life coming up in like being an immigrant and then coming up and coming out into the LGBTQIA community. And plus, he was such a huge fan of opera. And he showed that love of opera through his music. Oh, it, he has such an amazing story to tell, and I would love to be able to bring that to the operatic stage.
That sounds like a good opera. You sound very passionate about this.
I,
I love it. I would love to see that, because I've heard the name Freddie Mercury, but I don't know anything about
oh yeah,
the artist.
I'm like trying to remember her name, but he like actually performed a concert with an opera singer. I'm like blanking on her name right now. I'm so sorry.
Okay. I'm gonna Google that and see. That sounds so cool. I love people that love opera, because opera is great.
Yeah. And like I honestly feel like if he didn't pass away so young in his life, I feel like music today would be so different. Just the way that he incorporated different genres into his music, but yet opera was kind of at the forefront of it all.
That's cool. Respect to that. Well, thank you so much for coming. And
Oh, thank you for having me.
where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Brittany Olivia Logan, and you can find me on Facebook with the same name.
Awesome. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.